Hello, in this Kotlin programming tutorial, we are going to take a look at variables. So first of all, let's just quickly cover what a variable is. A variable is essentially a data container, allows you to store a value, could be anything you want. It could be a number, for example, like 55. It could be a string, so hello world, for example, is a string. The benefits of variables allow you to store the data, and not only can you use it later on in your code, you can use it multiple times. And if you change the variable, any uses of that variable afterwards also are updated with the new value. So if you need to use that value, for example, maybe something that if it changes in one place, has to change everywhere else. So maybe a calculation, you calculate your story once, and it can be used anywhere. Okay, so a variable also refers to a memory location. Basically, on your on your RAM stick in your computer, there'll be a low memory location, and the variable is stored there. And to create a variable, it's really simple. You use the keyword var. Now you name your variable. So for the variable name, you can put anything you want pretty much. The epic var. There are some naming conditions, and I'll provide a link to that. But for most of the time, you can do whatever you want. So equals, and let's say if I put my name, so Fahad. Semicolon. Again, semicolons are necessary in Kotlin, but they are permissible. Therefore, I'm going to use it out of good practice. Now, we could use it in some capacity. I'm just going to print it out. So if I print this out as epic var, because no quotations around it, the compiler knows this is referring to some sort of variable. As you can see, the color has changed. Now, if I just run it, let's see what we get. Okay, so we have something unresolved. I put lowercase v. So it is case sensitive. Just make sure you pay attention to that. It's good that I made that mistake so I could demonstrate it. As you can see, we've used it right here. If you want to store a number, you can do so. So if I say a num1 equals 5, I could print that out. So I could do print ln num1. And if I run it now, there we go. We've printed out the number 5. There's another way that you can create a variable, and instead of using the keyword var, you can use the keyword val. So val. So if I say num2, for example, and I assign the value of 67, let's see what happens if we print that out. Print ln num2, run that. As you can see, it printed out. Obviously, we'll get rid of the hello world for now. As you can see, it printed off my name, so the epic var, printed out num1 and num2. So at the moment, it doesn't really look different, but let me show you what happens if I were to do epic var, because you can update variables as well. So if I assign my alias, which is Batman, and I do num1 equals a different number now, let's say 100, and let's say if I do num2 equals 99, all of them have this, are fine except for this one, which has a red line. Val cannot be reassigned. So val is what you would call in most other programming languages, is a constant. Simply put, after you've declared the variable, which is on this line here, and assigned a default first value, you cannot reassign values. So that will produce an error. Look, there you go, Kotlin val cannot be reassigned. But if I comment that out and I run it, as you can see, it works fine. Obviously, doesn't print anything out. Let's print it out now. There we go, we have the updated value. Num1 has been changed, so has epic var. And yeah, that's it really for variables. A variable created with the keyword var, so var, can be modified later on. You don't have to modify it, but it can be. VAL, so val, a variable created with that keyword, cannot be modified afterwards. So that's just something to bear in mind. The use cases will be VAL. So if you have a constant, for example, maybe pi, so pi, the mathematical constant, you might want to put, or you would want to put that in val because that doesn't change. That's a constant and that's going to remain the same. Whereas this could be, first name, for example, and that might change depending on the user. Okay, so that's it for, variables, the basics of it. I'm going to cover data types in the next video because as you can see, this right here, this piece of data and this one, they're different. One's a number, one's a string. So we'll cover all of that and how that sort of comes into play with variables in the data types video. If you have any questions, feel free to pop me a message. And as usual, I look forward to seeing you in the next video.